So here's a cool technique for factoring quadratics that a student of mine taught me about 10 years ago. So the goal is to get it like this, where these two numbers, like 3x times x, when you multiply them, will equal this, so 3x squared. So that's not too hard to figure out. And then the last two numbers have to multiply to get 2, but you don't know if you need to put a 1 here and a 2 here, or a 2 here and a 1 here, until you kind of guess and check and re-multiply it. And that's one way to do it, but it's kind of annoying. A way that works every time is if you multiply these two numbers together. So 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and now we search for two numbers that multiply to get 6, and they have to add to get 7, which is the middle number here. So add to get the middle number, and multiply to get the product of these two numbers. Okay, so those two numbers would be 6 and 7. Right? Or 6 and 1. 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. So now, if I do x plus 6 times x plus 1, now the problem is this 3. X times x is not 3x squared. So now if I take that 3 and I divide both of these by that number, then I reduce, so 6 over 3 is 2. And then this is why it's called the slide method. I slide this up here when 1/3 doesn't reduce any further, and it becomes 3x plus 1. And now I have the correct factors, x plus 2 times 3x plus 1. When you remultiply using the FOIL pattern, first, outside, inside, last, it will go back to the original trinomial. So let's try that with this one. So again, the first thing you do is multiply this number times this number. Okay, so they multiply to get -30. And then the number in front of the middle term here is a 1, or -1. So now we're looking for two numbers that multiply to get -30 and add to get -1. And those go here and here. Okay, we put our x and our x here, because that's going to make x squared. So then you have to think, two numbers that multiply to get 30 would be 6 times 5. Okay, or 10 times 3. But 6 minus 5 is 1, or 5 minus 6 is -1, and that's what we need to actually figure out. So it needs to be -6 and +5, because -6 times 5 is -30, and -6 plus 5 is -1. Now the 10 goes underneath both of these, and we reduce. So 6 over 10 is the same thing as if we divide both of these by 2, we would get 3 over 5. Okay, and then 5 over 10 is the same thing as 1 over 2. Now we can slide the 5 up and the 2 up, and we should get 5x minus 3 times 2x plus 1, and these would be the factors of the original trinomial. So try out that if you are trying to factor trinomials. Thank you for watching. Mr. Algebro out.